Hi! Some of you may have followed me here from other platforms, and some of you may be meeting me for the very first time on here. So I figured I would take a moment to do a little introductory video for anybody who may not know me, or maybe you were following me elsewhere but you forgot some of my information. So let's start with the basics. My name. I am Isla Cove, and species, it's a little bit different from your average VTuber. So I am a humanoid sea creature that was manufactured in a lab. Yeah. So it's not as much a horror show as you may be thinking. I know when you hear manufactured in a lab, you might be like, oh no, what kind of horrific experiments were they conducting on this poor girl? I want to set your mind at ease, though. The scientists were actually really, really nice to me. I was able to play video games and have a TV and kind of have a lot of freedoms in the lab, but it came with a price. The whole objective they had in terms of creating me was that they wanted to try to see whether or not they could take the best of humanity and fuse it with the strongest creatures in the sea. Because, let's face it, a lot of people don't know much about creatures in the sea. It's a complete mystery to a lot of people, which means that they wouldn't know how to fight back against it. But at the end of the day, even though they were kind of nice to me, I wanted to be able to forge my own path. I wanted to be able to craft my own future for myself that didn't involve constantly needing to uproot myself from wherever I decided to call home at the time and go be made into some kind of lab work again. So I escaped. I escaped one night, and I have never looked back since, and I created the Oasis for myself, which is my home that you are always more than welcome to hang out with me in. Let's get a little up close and personal for this part. As you can see, I have little white dots on my face. Those are actually bioluminescence. That is part of deep sea creature anatomy. That is a part of my own anatomy. My eyes are also a little bit different. My eyelashes on the top are not your typical human eyelashes. Nope. They are another type of bioluminescence. I'm able to keep an eye out on what's ahead of me. The downside to that is others can also see me coming, though, as I'm sure you can imagine. My hair is purple and has glittery marks in it, but I enjoy changing up my hairstyle and hair color just like most humanoid creatures do. So every so often you will see me with a different color, but the style usually stays generally the same. On my head, you see this jellyfish. This is not a hat. This is actually a part of my anatomy as well. I cannot just take the jellyfish off of my head. It is part of me. The tendrils on it help propel me forward when I'm trying to swim in the sea. It's especially nifty against predator species because it makes me a lot faster than they are. I can take off like an absolute jet in the water. I also, as you might be able to tell from my legs, have scales. They're not just on my legs, I have scales all over my body actually. And I also have gills underneath a lot of those scales, which makes it so I can actually breathe underwater with very little effort. I'm one of very few species on Earth that can breathe both on land and in the sea, but I don't generally have to come up for air or go down back into the water immediately like a lot of species where it's like there's a timeline or they're, gonna pass away. So that works in my favor. I can be in the water or on land for as long as I want without any problem. Now, in terms of what I like to dress like, I'm a teeny bit on the comfier side compared to most people you may have met in this form. But yeah, I love cardigans. I mean, I'm typically in the deep sea. In case you didn't realize, it gets very, very cold in the deep sea. So, I'm not a cold-blooded creature. I am humanoid. I'm part human, which means I need to stay nice and warm and comfy. Yes, having some of the sea creature anatomy does help, but it's not perfect. So, cardigan, very helpful. I actually made my cardigan myself, and I will try to put up some pictures so you can get a better view of it. As you can see, it has cute little fish scales on the front. It's got little jellyfish patches on the chest and on the sleeves, so I really like it. I think it's my favorite cardigan that I own. I used to wear a different one, but I like this one much better. I also have a tank top underneath it just in case I start running a little warm instead of cold. I can just shrug off the cardigan and be more comfy. And I also made my own tank top. The little Dumbo octopus that's on the front of it, I have decided to name Noodle Caboodle. It just felt fitting somehow. And I also made my skirt design. It's just cute little dots with some pretty colors in it that remind me of the beach and make me happy. I also designed my own shoes, and they have cute little fish all over them as well, kind of keeping with the overall motif. But yeah, that's a little bit about me so you can get to know me better. And now, if you are bored and you have a few minutes to spare, I'd love to show you some of my favorite worlds because, in case you hadn't noticed, I'm filming this in VR chat. I am here on Tumblr. I also exist over on Blue Sky and YouTube, but VR chat is where you can find me literally every single day. I'm usually here sometime in the afternoon and definitely in the evening, usually after 7 or 8 p.m. So if you ever want to hang out, don't be shy, please. I'm a very extroverted individual who is very much looking for friends, and I just want to hang out with you guys. This is my current home world. No, I did not create it. Sadly, I'm not that talented yet. But it's called Starry Orca, and I thought it was absolutely stunning. Just look at this. What more could a little fish girl want? Absolutely beautiful. So this is where I always appear when I first come into VR chat, and usually the last place I say goodbye to before I log off. So this place is just gorgeous, and I can't believe I haven't seen more people film themselves hanging out in it. It's like an aquarium hotel type dealie, and it's just beautiful. And while I take you around this place, I can talk to you a little bit more about what to expect if you follow me. So, although I, as Isla, have a lot of lore, I don't do a ton of roleplay type content. Usually I'm talking to you more as myself outside of VTubing. So, for example, something that made me extremely happy recently is the fact that I was able to upload my Isla Cove avatar to VR chat. And a big part of the reason that made me so incredibly happy is because I had used her as a VTuber model for a very long time, almost a full year now. And I love her, and I've got full body tracking capabilities with this model. But the problem is only the top half of her ever moves because in real life, I have limited mobility. I am a disabled individual. So it's kind of awkward sometimes to only move part of your body. But in VR chat, for the first time, I got to see my model's legs move. I got to see her walk and run, and it brought me a level of joy that is completely unmatched by other experiences I've had online. I wish I could express it properly. But yeah, that made me really happy. Something else that makes me really happy in VR chat is the fact that I can do things like go to theme parks because, again, unfortunately, like, yeah, technically I can go to a theme park. I can buy myself a ticket and hang out at a theme park, and I do enjoy going to theme parks. But a problem, again, with being a disabled and chronically ill individual is I have to be really careful what time of year I go because if it's heavy, like cold or flu season, I'm gonna catch pneumonia. My colds never remain colds, they always morph into something nastier. Not to mention the fact that when you're disabled and chronically ill, you don't have a lot of disposable income because you're spending every bit of money that you get just being okay, and getting medical devices and stuff to keep yourself going. And then the other issue is I physically can't ride a lot of rides at theme parks, as beautiful as they are and as fun as they seem. I mean, it's not a cheap day out, and paying that much money just to not be able to ride most of the rides, not my idea of the best time on the planet. So another thing I love in VR chat is the fact that I can ride the rides. So I'm going to take you to a non-sea themed world this time so that you can see me being a lunatic and having fun at a theme park I can actually enjoy. This place is so cute and stunning, and I really can't wait to share it with you guys. The only downside to this world, because there's quite a few different theme parks in VR chat, the only downside is I believe this one was built for someone in particular, so I think it's only public for about a year, and then they're gonna make it so you can't visit anymore without an invite, which I understand, but it kind of sucks because it's my favorite one I've found so far. Here, I turned on my face mirror so you can actually still see me while we're going through the park and see what a lunatic I become in here. So, it's not that different in terms of the kinds of attractions at this one compared to the other theme parks you can visit in VR chat. What I liked about this one, though, is the overall aesthetic. Like, look at how cute this is. It's adorable. Why would you not want to visit this place? That's why I'm so gutted that it's not going to be public forever, so I'm visiting it literally every single day, riding all the rides that... Why am I cross-eyed? Riding all the rides I can while I can. God, what happened to me? Because I don't know when that year of public use began. So for all I know, like next week, this could just be taken away. I like this roller coaster. I like this roller coaster. I'm gonna ride this roller coaster. Something else I enjoyed about this theme park world compared to other ones is this sign. So with most of them, you either have to hunt for a near invisible button that tells you how to start up the attraction, and sometimes if it's a darker attraction, you can't see it in the wall very well, or you have to just hit that you're starting the ride and you have to desperately hope you have enough time to jump into the seat. With this one, you can teleport, which is nice. Whee! I have only ever been able to ride a single roller coaster my entire life, so this is really fun. I know it's not the same. I don't care. I love it. Woohoo! The colors here are so pretty too. I have a couple of night carnivals or night theme parks that I love in VR chat, but there's just something again about the aesthetics of this one that's so special. Oh, done. Just like real life, the stairs have become my enemy. I want to show you, I'm sure you saw a glimpse of it, but just how absolutely beautiful that is. Like, whoever they made this world for, they must love them an awful lot, because I can't begin to imagine the amount of work this took. And dedication, and getting everything just perfect. It's so pretty. This night train isn't anything too over the top or anything. It's just one train car with beautiful scenery. This person's made a few different ones like this. This one's more like the night sky themed. There's one that's more underwater themed, and it's not as chaotic and over the top as the theme park worlds that I like. This is more when I just need a little calm and peace and serenity. Maybe I've had a tough day and I just want to relax for a little bit, because it's important to have these little safe spaces in your life, even if they do exist in like VR chat or elsewhere online, because real life can get tough sometimes. It can get scary, it can get difficult, and knowing you have a place of calm to return to that you don't have to worry about any of life's problems in, it's a special thing to have. So I highly recommend just seeking out some worlds like this one where you can just be free to be yourself and be peaceful. I've been trying to keep up with more bedroom style worlds lately because now that I know how to create my own avatars in VR chat and upload them, the next thing I'm trying to learn is how to craft worlds. And I think the first one I want to make is what I've always envisioned for the Oasis. The Oasis right now, when you watch my other like VTubing content, is just a amalgamation of different assets I found from all over the place online. And what's going to be cool about making it in VR chat is it's finally going to be fully custom. It's going to just be stuff I create for the world. And I want it to be a fully public world that immediately makes people feel free to be who they are without judgment or worry. I want it to be a safe space for everybody, even people who have a hard time getting on with others in VR chat. Maybe they've been bullied before. Maybe people don't really get why they want a certain avatar or something or a certain kind of world. And I just want it to be a place that they always feel welcome and safe. And speaking of bedroom worlds, there's one more world I want to take you to, and this one is very dear to my heart and very, very special. Some people will understand why, many others may not. A lot of people discovered the fun and joys of VR chat through the Drumsy channel, myself included. I used to spend day after day watching Searmore and Drumsy videos, one after the other, just gobbling them up because I just loved them so much. Searmore was more like the heart and soul of VR chat and asking people really hard-hitting questions about their lives and getting to know like the human behind the avatar, whereas Drumsy is the fun and games guy who just shows the fun and wonderful people you can meet and become friends with in VR chat. But unfortunately, a fan favorite person on his channel, Illy the Kitty, recently passed away from complications of cystic fibrosis. That obviously hit Drumsy and his friends pretty hard. It also hit the fandom as a whole very, very hard. And as a result, the last world she ever publicly went to in one of his videos left a memorial to her, which I thought was really sweet, that people have visited and you can see it on Drumsy's channel and stuff. There's also been a couple dedicated worlds people created just in memorial to her, entire worlds for her. I'm not going to show you those today. Instead, I'm going to show you the only public world Illy was ever working on. It's never going to be finished. It's still considered a work in progress, but I still think it's very special to visit what she was creating for herself, because this is her oasis. This is her safe space. This is her home away from home where she could truly be herself fully without compromise. And I think it's a really deep and beautiful look into an individual that a lot of us cared about. So this is going to be Spiral Club by Dizzy Illy. Here we are, guys. Illy's little world she was building for herself. I love her little illustrations of her character she created. Considering this was still considered under construction, I am absolutely in awe of what she managed to create. She must have taken so long on this. And honestly, this spiral, I fucking love. She has this in a few different areas of her little world here, and I love it so much I've been inspired to actually make into a decoration in my real life house. There's more of her. Her cute little illustrations of herself. Absolutely love it. I love that there's an actual legitimate self-portrait up there too. She had such a cute art style. She's got her little bar back there. Like, who wouldn't want to live in a place like that? This is adorable. And it's really inspiring me to create my first world. Speaking of, Illy helped inspire me a lot to try VR chat. I'd heard of it, and obviously I was watching like Drumsy before she showed up on the channel and stuff, and I was watching like Searmore's videos and everything, but I wasn't sure about trying it myself. I didn't know how I'd get on with it. Also, I'm not gonna lie, I legitimately thought that you had to have like the headgear and stuff in order to use it. I didn't know you could just use a PC. That's my bad. That's my fault entirely for not knowing. But yeah, watching Illy She was the first person on YouTube that made me truly feel seen because, like I mentioned before, I am disabled and chronically ill in real life. I don't have the exact diagnosis that she did, but I understand what it's like to not want your life to, stop just because you're disabled or chronically ill. You want to go out and have fun. You want to enjoy your life. You want to laugh and smile and have a good time. And unfortunately, the world just isn't built for you. But VR chat can be. VR chat can be whatever you want it to be. You can go to any world you want, regardless of your physical limitations in real life. And if it doesn't exist, you can just make it in VR chat. You can just will it into existence yourself. And I think that's a wonderful thing. I also have some similarities in common with her in terms of the fact that I laugh a lot. I smile. I try and make other people laugh and smile as much as I can. I joke about my conditions and stuff. And, when I need something from somebody, I'm like, I need legs. Who's willing to be my legs today? And just stupid shit like that as much as I can because, like, there's nothing wrong with it if you have bad days. Sometimes you're going to have bad days when you're disabled and chronically ill because sometimes you just feel like shit in general. It's perfectly acceptable to be upset about that. But I also try to keep good humor. I try to find a reason to smile and laugh every single day, no matter what's going on. My wife and I actually have a rule in our household: no matter how terrible our days were, we have to make each other laugh at least once a day. And our relationship is stronger for it because nobody goes to bed miserable in my household. Something made you happy at some point, no matter what else happened. And that's another Iliism, that she allowed herself those tough days where she was sad about her condition and stuff, but she was also like, hey, I'm going to have fun in VR with my friends. I'm going to go places I never could have gone and travel the world in VR chat like I never could before and stuff like this. I still love seeing myself run. I can't do this in real life, so this is exciting for me. But yeah, I really felt seen by her, and I can't thank Drumsy enough for allowing her on his channel and becoming friends with her because she really does make you feel, visible. And you see every side to being disabled through her. So I know that was a very long introduction video that a lot of people just say their name, they say what they like, they, talk about their VTuber species and stuff, but I figured that we could have a little more fun than that, and that taking you to some of my favorite worlds would help you really get to know me better. So hopefully you had fun throughout this video. Hopefully you learned enough about me to stick around. And I also hope that if you were having a rough day or you felt a little bit lonely, hanging out with me, made you feel a little better. Just having me keep you company. And I hope to see all of you again in the next video, or if you're not interested in that, hopefully I'll meet you in VR chat at some point.
Thank you so much for watching this video, you guys. I wanted to give you a little bit of a behind the scenes look at the person behind the VTuber model. My real name is Brennan, but before I changed it to Brennan, it was Mads. Completely interchangeable. Entirely up to you what you want to call me. I have no preference toward or against either one. I am a disabled chronic illness warrior who tries every day to make people laugh as much as I possibly can. And I also enjoy creating art with my wife and playing with my adorable pet cats. We have a graphic novel series we're currently creating together, and if you want to support my wife, she is called Firesphere Media on social media. By the way, my pronouns are he, they. Sorry for forgetting that.